Hi there everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now for the first time since my return, we've just had a new monthly community stream for Dissidia Opera Omnia. So today I'm going to take you through all the information that we've just gained from that stream and go into a little bit of depth about each of the things that have been revealed. I'm also going to take this opportunity to reveal what I plan to do in terms of Opera Omnia content from this point onwards. So you guys will know that I used to do Should You Pull videos for a long time, and I still want to be able to give you guys advice on where to put your resources, where to put your gems and everything like that, but it's the timing I'm going to change up. So instead of doing a video every time a new banner comes out, I'm going to schedule videos for each Monday that's coming up so that you guys can get an impression of when to pull for things or what banners are coming that week, so you guys know when you can come and find me, when you can come and check me out. And obviously with this video, with it being a monthly video, then I'm able to go into more detail as to the things that are happening in that first week as well. So we're going to have some really cool characters that I've actually been really looking forward to come up this week. So do look forward to those as well. So if you're interested in all things Dissidia, then stay tuned and keep on watching. Don't forget to check out all of my social media links in the description box below, including my Discord, which I'm currently still in the process of reformulating so that I can give you guys the best entertainment I can possibly give you and the most interaction I can possibly give you. But my Twitter is still very active, my Twitch is going to be very active again very, very soon. And obviously don't forget to check out all of the other Dissidia Opera Omnia content creators that are out there as well. There's lots of us out here, and all of us appreciate your time and your likes and your subscribes and all of that good stuff, so definitely go and check that out before you do anything else. So the first thing that was shown to us in the slides today actually comes out this week. It comes out on Friday, which is February the 28th, and that is going to be the next level 70 Crystal Awakenings batch. And that's going to contain two characters that I'm actually very excited for, and I really hope to get my hands on once again, which are going to be Onion Knight and Yuri. Now both of these characters get reworks, they get their EX realizations, they're going to get some really nice stuff, and you're going to get some nice little extras in the form of Prish, Kefka, Ash and Raijin stuff as well, but in all honesty they don't get their realizations this time around. In fact, some of them don't even get their EXs on these banners, so honestly I wouldn't worry too much about those unless you happen to get one of the EXs on the free multi-draw. I'm personally hoping that, because I haven't had a free EX from this multi-draw, if it's going to come out, I'd like it to be this banner coming up, to be honest. But they're going to be really interesting characters. So, as I said, in the vein of going into a little more detail about these things, about what's coming up this week, then let's have a look at our favourite website, DissidiaDB.com. So don't forget to go and give your support to that website as well if you haven't already, to go and have a little bit more of a look in depth about Yuri and Onion Knight. Now, both Yuri and Onion Knight have something in common that make them very exciting for this point in time when it comes to their release. But let's look at Yuri first. Now, Yuri gets quite a nice little rework. And by the way, if you haven't already checked out DissidiaDB.com, Rem has worked very, very hard to rework some of the stuff that he's done on this site, and it's honestly really, really good. So I definitely encourage you to come and check this website out. I shall leave a link in the description box for this website if you haven't seen it before, though many Dissidia players have. But you can see with the rework, the main thing you want to be looking at is that Rella Crystal gets a holy enchant added onto the effect of Chilinka's Prayer, which was the ability that Yuri used most in order to kind of get his gears going, because without having Chilinka's Prayer active, he'd hurt himself quite badly whenever he was attacking, things like that. You'd end up not being able to use him as correctly as you could. You'd consume all of your bravery, or you'd hurt yourself really badly if you didn't have Chilinka's Prayer active, but equally you would do an absolute megaton of damage, and gravity effects, you get quite a lot out of Yuri in terms of decent damage. But what actually really is nice about him is not only does he get the holy enchant on his abilities through Chilinka's Prayer and using Rella Crystal, but Clavashian Sword, which is his EX attack, now also gives you a 5-hit holy AoE Brave HP and Brave HP attack. You get 100% HP attack to all enemies, which is an incredibly useful thing on any character, but you also get holy resistance down on the target for 6 turns, which is awesome. But that's not even the main thing with Yuri's EX. You get a recovery of each of the use of his skills, which instantly makes a good character. Straight away. Ishtola does it, Vayne does it. Characters like that are, in my eyes, massive longevity beasts. So this is a character that I'm actually very excited about. And I haven't even gotten to what the Clavashian Sword buff United Halves actually does. And my favourite, I love this attack so much, because Yuri summons his sister, Chelinka by his side, and you actually have both models on the screen at the same time, and it's really cute and really lovely. But Chelinka puts in some work when she's there. She raises your party's attack, she raises their max brave overflow limit, she raises their bravery at the start of their turn, she gives them HP regen. She's just really nice just to be there. Like, for a girl that just kind of stands there, she does a pretty damn good job. So honestly, you know, when it comes to realization as well, you get more. You just get more overflow. You don't get like anything particularly major from the realizations, except more damage, more overflow. Basically, all the offensive stats that you really want. You also start with Chelinka's Prayer, which is really nice because obviously before you'd have to use Relic Crystal to get that buff, so you could just go in and start using your attacks and things like that. So now you don't have to do that, and you get you know, all the good stats just by walking in there. And by the time you've done that, you also get, you know, the ability to use the EX again. And by the time the EX has run out as well, because of the recharge rate, if you're using skills on every turn that Yuri's up, and bear in mind you're recovering skills while you're doing this, you'll have enough gauge to use the EX again. So honestly, I am a massive fan of Yuri's kit. Now, Onion Knight, in a very similar way to Yuri, also has the whole Enchant in Peril thing going on, although Onion Knight goes a little bit further with it because his level 65 crystal ability actually gives Enchant Ice to your whole party. So in a very similar way to how Lulu has done it, she gives like Enchant Fire and Imperil Fire, you know, and she will Imperil Fire, and then you've now got Onion Knight that does the same thing for Ice. But, you know, he also, like, a lot of people have used Onion Knight already in his main shtick of switching between Sage and Ninja to get different buffs depending on which mode you're in. But realistically, before now, he was always kind of okay. He was never that great. But he gets some amazing stuff, like he gets like splash damage on all of his attacks while he's got his Sage leveled up. He gets just really strong attacks generally. And then when you get to his EX plus realization, when you're using his EX attacks, they become 100% HP damage across all targets and AoE, which instantly makes him like 10 times better. He always grants Ice Enchant to himself by granting himself Forbidden Lands power while using either version of his EX skill, so Blade Torrent or Meteorite. He gets more stats, which you always want. He also gets Forbidden Lands power when he enters. He fills his EX gauge to 70% at 2 ingots, which is really nice. I've actually been saving my ingots for Yuri and Onion Knight because I know I'm going to want to use them. And doesn't consume ability use for the first turn. That's really nice. Like the first turn is free for Onion Knight, and he's like the first in a trend of characters that does this. There's quite a few characters that do it, and then you get better HP and brave attack pluses when it comes to Onion Knight as well, which obviously always adds longevity to a character. You get much more brave overflow when you come onto using any of his stuff. He pairs up really nicely with Camlanaut, who'll be coming out soon, because Camlanaut is an ice-based character as well, so any Ice in Peril is going to be really handy. But obviously it doesn't even need to be an ice-based character to work with Onion Knight, because he can give the entire party Ice Enchant at any time. Onion Knight and Yuri are both very strong characters, and this is a banner that I'll definitely be looking very heavily into. Now that's the only banner that I'm going to go into any detail in this week in terms of, in this video in terms of what's coming up, as Yuri and Onion Knight's banner is actually happening this week rather than the beginning of March. But at the very beginning of March, we're going to have 2 new events coming up. We're going to have Lulu's Lost Chapter, which will see the realizations of Lulu and Jekt. Lulu will get her EX, which has a realization, and then Jekt will get his realization as well. Jekt just does more damage, which is all you really want him to do. Jekt was never a bad character. I actually already have Jekt, and I really enjoy using him. But he always felt very linear, and that doesn't really change all that much. But he does put out some very big numbers. And Lulu has some really cool interactions in a similar way to Onion Knight, as I said, but she does it for fire instead of ice, and her EX attack at full realization and everything actually does 5 HP attacks, which is pretty heavy. So Lulu's a character well worth investing in if you don't have anyone else that's got an Imperil for it. I struggle to know whether I want to pull on this banner or not because I plan on pulling on Yuri and Onion Knight and because I already have Jekt. But if you don't already have Jekt, then it's a very cool banner. And then on March the 6th, which should be the following Friday, we'll get Camlanaut and we'll also get Shantoto's realization. Now, Shantoto's a character that I actually really like her realization for because she does the Imperil thing across all elements at full realization. Like, she already had a bit of an Imperil thing going on, but that was before this month, which is very themed around the whole Imperil thing, Camlinaut's a nice character and will work very well with either Shantotto or Onion Knight, and is based around kind of, he has some paralysis mechanics and things like that. He's not a very favoured character, as far as I can tell. Like, people kind of like him, but they're not fussed if they don't get him. I kind of want him because he's a villain, and I kind of have to collect all of the villains. But past that, I think that Shantotto's the prize on this banner, realistically, and even she's not massively necessary because her burst and LD much later down the line aren't the premier ones that everyone's going to be looking at. And, in terms of the costumes and stuff, I definitely think Onion Knight wins in terms of the costume looking cool. I mean, Shantotto's is okay, but I'm not that fussed about it, to be honest. But they're both, both banners are very cool, but not necessary as far as I can tell. Now, we've talked about Yuri and Onion Knight and that being a good banner. We've talked about Lulu and Camlinaut's banners and them being fairly good. They're not too bad. But if you focus on any banner this month, and I will go into much greater detail on this in a couple of weeks nearer the time of the release of the banners, go for this one, which is Pandemonium's banner. Edge and Penelo get their EXs and their realizations for those EXs on these banners, and Penelo in particular, Edge is pretty good. Edge is actually pretty good. He's very evasion heavy like he always has been, but now he actually puts out damage and numbers, and he's actually a usable character. Penelo is straight up bonkers. Like, she makes it so your party's so fast that your opponent doesn't get a turn in, and in combination with Aranea and things like that, now I can see Penelo being even more of a must-have than she was even in JP. And she was top tier alongside Zac in the Japanese version of the game for a very long time. So honestly, if you're gonna save your resources for any banner this month, make it this one. Just because if you get Edge, great. But you're wanting Penelo, you have to get her. But it being a summon board means that we're going to get a buttload of resources along with it, which will be fantastic. We'll get, it says there on the screen, 35,000 gems plus, 350 plus draw tickets, and now it means that every new character, one of my favourite things about the summon boards coming out is that it means that every new character that comes out after that, right now we're getting 15 extra tickets and 1,500 extra gems for every character that comes out, because there's currently 5 summon boards. And every time a summon board comes out, so this will be the 6th, it adds another 300 gems, 3 tickets, and 5 armor tokens to that list. So whenever a character comes out after March the 11th, we're now getting 18 extra bits and extra tickets, 1,800 gems. And that's a really cool thing. That's my favourite way to look at the summon boards. Now, to go with the Pandemonium banners and the Pandemonium event, we're also going to get the next tier up of Dimensions End. Now, I have used Aranea in Dimensions End 7. And the reason for that, a lot of people have saved her, with good reason, she's very good. However, Tier 8 actually actively wards off ranged attackers, and that's Aranea's whole shtick. So I figured that I'd use Aranea for DE7, because I thought, well, if I'm going to need her for like DE9 or anything later, by the time DE9s come around, I could easily save her and pull her back out if I need to. But the thing with Tier 8 is very much the whole theme for the month of March when it comes to Dissidia, and it's all about imperiling. So if you have imperil characters already, someone like Aiko perhaps, then you're already off to a great start. But every character you could pull for this month is going to be helpful to you in some way. So if you already have Gao from this week's banners, then he has Earth resist down, so maybe Gao and Ishtola will work really well. Onion Knight will work really well, especially if you have Onion Knight and Camlinaut, or Shantotto and Camlinaut. If you have Lulu and Jack together, they'll do really well. So basically what you want to do is you want to have an Imperil or an Elemental Resist down, as it's listed here, and then someone to take advantage of that. So Lan and Rain, who I will get to in a moment as well, will also benefit from this, although not quite as heavily as much as it pains me to admit it, because I love those characters. But Yuri, like, having his Holy Enchant and Holy Imperil at the same time. As I said, Aiko having Holy Imperil. There's a lot of Golbez having Dark Imperil. There's so many different characters that you can use for this, that you can use. And if you get, like, Penelo along the way, I mean, I'd honestly save Penelo for later, because she's that good. But you can find a support character that will work really well, because you don't have to worry too much about sort of debuffs like you have done with 6 and 7 or anything like that, where you needed to use characters that actively ward off debuffs and things like that. So that's how you're going to want to do DE8 this time round. And when it comes around, I will obviously try and sort of help people to do that one as well, because the other thing I'm planning on doing when it comes to videos on a weekly basis or a regular basis for Dissidia is to do hard content clears and recommending characters for them. So having, like, I'll probably do it on a Friday or something like that for the week previously, so that you guys can see how I've cleared content, and then I can explain as I'm clearing it how I've done it and what alternative characters you could use to do so. Now, depending on how you look at it, upsettingly or luckily, the banners that are on the latter half of March are less impressive than the former half. On March 16th, we'll have Lan and Rain returning, so we'll get Lan and Rain rework as well as Edgar. Unfortunately, neither one of them are like top mega tier or anything, but I mean, I might still throw a few tickets at Lan and Rain anyway, because I think they're adorable and I really want them. And they do fit into the whole Imperil theme pretty well as well. And then you've also got Kieran, who you can't, no one knows who that is, but it's Kieran, who is the main character from the original Crystal Chronicles, coming back with Lael. Now, Kieran, not great, not gonna lie. He's aura based, but he has to level up stacks, and as we've seen with characters like Terra, stack based characters tend not to be that great, unfortunately. Like Onion Knight's like an exception to the rule. He does really well, but even then it'd be so much easier if you didn't have to deal with the stacking mechanics and things like that, and Kieran kind of relies on them in order to support the party, and there are just better support characters out there, like Penelo came out the week before, and you're just going to want to use her. Lael, on the other hand, is actually very good. He's got his core mechanics, where he's got his launch mechanics and his delay, and those add up to really good scores. So there's no reason why Lael would be bad when he gets brought up to a realization era. If anything, I've been sitting on my DE order EX tokens for a while, and this month will be where I spend them. Because depending on how these banners go, I've been waiting on either Onion Knight, Lael, or Shantotto, and it depends on whether I get Onion Knight before Yuri, or if I get Shantotto before Kanlanor, or if I get... And if neither of those happen, then I'll probably go for Lael. I may even just go for Lael anyway, because I'm probably just going to pull for Onion Knight, and Shantotto's kind of I can take her or leave her. But, as I said in my previous video, sound off in the comments below and let me know which of those three that you would pick out of those for your EX tokens, because I'm leaning toward Lael. Something interesting that we will get nearer the end of the month is going to be the Spring Festival. So March 23rd all the way to the middle of April, we're going to have more co-op quests. So the Abyss was noticeable as well. The Abyss will be returning, as well as this limited time Abyss. So they will have taken Abyss beta away by this point, but I think here they're going to bring it back in. We'll get cycle quest rewards, daily missions, spring panel missions, which means more ingots, hopefully. Support item sale, things like that. But we'll get support item sales during Pandemonium's event, which is when you'll actually need them anyway. But the thing here that makes me wonder is the free multi-draws. So I'm wondering if, the following slide will have another banner or two on it as well. But more free draws is always good, although I still don't expect I'll get anything from them. But I've looked through some of the lists of banners that are on JP, and I'm honestly not entirely sure what banners these could be. So if you have an idea of which ones they are, then definitely let me know in the comments below and see which ones you may have found that might suit this, or the timing. Because I'm actually not entirely sure. But the fact that we're getting free multi-draws and a bunch of other stuff to go with it means more resources, more ingots, more books, more all of that stuff, and it's all good by me. And then the final slide that we were shown for this particular community stream was another level 70 Crystal Awakenings batch, which will happen on March the 27th. Now, this one is predominantly going to feature Seymour and Papalymo. Now, neither of these characters are necessary. I'm probably going to have to pull for Seymour, even though I think he's actually pretty bad, because it would complete my villain collection. He's been a glaring hole in my villain collection since the beginning. I've just not managed to acquire him at all. These banners fall in line with the spring sort of festival, so I imagine that the first multi-draw on these will be free. But if there's only 2 free multi-draws in the whole Spring Fest, I find that hard to believe. So I'm curious as to which ones will follow it. Seymour is like Magic Tidus, but he's slower. He's debuff related, but he's just nothing special. Papalymo puts out some heavy damage though, and his EX, if I got Papalymo's EX, I'd actually be pretty happy about it, because while he's not top tier, he's still really cool. He's very linear and he's very simple, but he just puts out big numbers, and that's all I realistically want from him. Beatback missions with both this and the first Crystal Awakenings mean that we'll get loads of extra resources just by people playing the games. I actually really like the beatback missions, even though the raids can sometimes be a little bit of a slog on the individual front, but the beatback missions do make me happy in that I can wake up in the morning and go, oh, I've got a bunch of crystals and gems and tickets and stuff like that. So honestly, I would wait and see on this banner. I don't think it's anything massive to worry about, but if there's free pulls on it, great. So before I end this video, I'm going to quickly go over the characters that we've had revealed and the kind of the priorities at which I think that people should be putting them. So top, middle and bottom like priorities. And honestly, when it comes to top priorities, Penelo is an absolute 100% at the top. She is definitely the best character of the month as far as I'm concerned. She just puts so much work into the speed of your party, the battery of your party. Her EX puts your opponent's bravery to 0 without breaking them, so you can then use... Like, her pairing with Aranea honestly terrifies me, and I think that she's just that good that everybody should try and go for her. And then, equally, Edge is very good as well, so that banner is a definite top priority. I also think that Yuri and Onion Knight is a high priority for a lot of people, myself included. I really want both of these characters. I think they're both great. And then after that, they're more in the middle. You've got kind of Lulu and Jekt, which if you haven't got Onion Knight, Lulu is very enticing. But if you have, she's not quite so important. And if you already have Jekt, then I would probably skip the banner personally, although... You know, Lulu is a fan favourite as well, so she is good. She's very good, but she's not the top priority. I wouldn't pull for Lulu before you pulled for Penelo, for example, and those banners will be live at the same time. Shantoto, Camlanort, kind of a mid-tier thing. Like, they're, you know, Shantoto's pretty cool. Camlanort is pretty low priority, though. And then after that, pretty much everyone else that comes out this month, I'd say, is pretty low priority. Papalimo and Seymour, I wouldn't worry too much about. Kieran, I definitely wouldn't worry about. Lael is very good, but there's been multiple opportunities to get him already, so I wouldn't stress about it. And then Lan and Rain and Edgar... Lan and Rain just make me sad because I love them and they're just not very good. So, honestly, like I said, top priority, Penelo, Yuri, Onion Knight, Edge. Mid priority, Lulu, Jekt, Shantoto, Camlanort. And then Lan and Rain, Edgar, Kieran and Lael, Papalimo and Seymour, I'd put at mid to low priority. But as long as you pull for Penelo, I don't mind what you do. As long as you pull for her, she's just that damn good. So that's going to be where I leave the video for the day. So thank you very much for joining me and thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications so that you guys know when any new videos are coming up about Dissidia or Final Fantasy VII or any other content that I might do in the future. I do still have a straw poll alive at the moment, so I'll leave a link in the description box for that for you to go and check out. Maybe vote towards things that you'd like to see this channel do in the future as I try to spread my wings going forward into this world of YouTube and the internet. And of course, feel free to come and join me on Discord or message me on social media, follow me on Twitter or Twitch or any of that good stuff as well if you'd like to come and watch me playing some of these games. And then that will be it from me. So thank you again, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Take care.